Okay, today we're going to take a look at my Ridge Racer coin-op. It's been quite an ongoing project for me, this one. It uses System 22, made by Namco. These are the screenshots of what it's capable of. Back in the day, this was like in the generation of Daytona USA and stuff like that. So this is my cab currently, in its current condition. Obviously I've got the side decals on, I've rebuilt all of that, the motherboard's in, it is actually fully functional. This is the motherboard, the carrier, the can that carries it. I've got to get all that resprayed because obviously the fans had rotted through there. So a couple of new fans, one goes on the motherboard and one goes in the back of the unit. This is my little helper, which obviously come to inspect my work, make sure I'm doing it all okay. So a couple of new fans really, and a tidy up of the wiring was all that really needed for the mainboard carrier, where all the power supply and the actual CPU and mainboard are. So that was a fairly simple operation, so nothing too strenuous there. Wiring was a bit of a mess. This is obviously with the motherboard extracted, back of the pedals. Going to change that fan. So there's the motherboard carrier all back together. That option switch had broke, so I've got to change that on that little board. Had a bit of a hiccup. One of the fans that I'd bought was noisy. It did work, but it's a bit noisy and I didn't particularly want to take the risk. Biggest problem with the System 22 is it overheating and the motherboard blows. This was my next issue. This cam on the back of the steering column was loose, so when you turn the steering it would go across and then bang from side to side. It was really unpleasant to play, and as you can see there's a lot of play in that cam right on the end. So it's not on the actual shaft, it's that little adapter sort of unit with the cam that goes against the spring tension that gives you that, it returns the steering wheel to the centre position. So that's what's called a Woodruff key slot, and the Woodruff key goes into there and into the slot into this shaft, and that's what locks the two together. It is quite a common, in the motor industry, that is how they normally do it. So I'm just going to pop this to bits. Luckily I have got a replacement. I have got a spare machine, just the harvesting for bits. That machine died long ago, but things like this, could obviously transplanted over quite easily. With that fixed, just moving on to the dashboard. The dashboard was it was pretty good. It was better than my other one, but there were some fag burns and some few little bits and bobs. So what I've decided to do, I've got some special stuff to spray the top half of the dashboard. It is an automotive product which is used for OEM plastics, external and internal. So just masked it off. This is obviously the finished result. Give it a good spray over with this product. Really pleased with the way it's come out. It does give an OEM dash finish, which I really liked. So I decided to paint the steering wheel. The steering wheel was looking a bit dull, a bit manky and a bit dull, so I gave it this, it's like a plastic primer, allows the paint to etch and take. So then I went over with this, it's the Kent Plastex in black. That's what I've used to actually do it. It's quite hard wearing. I've been using the steering wheel to have a few goes, and it's quite hard wearing, so I'm pleased with that. The textured finish is nice. It does feel like an item at the OEM. That's the centre cap. Just won't blow over that because it had all gone dull with all the sunlight it's been exposed to over the years. This is a bit more. There was a lock bar on this, so I've decided I ground off the lock bar with an angle grinder, but it left a few holes where they'd blown through it when they'd welded it on. So I put in some filler called chemical metal. Once it's dried, then obviously just sand that down so it's nice and flat. And then this is me going over it with a stone chip. Difference between stone chip and normal paint is it gives a textured finish. The machine has like a little bobbly texture to the paintwork, and this will hopefully mirror that so that it blends in nicely, so you can't see where I've obviously repaired that. Once this is actually nice and dry, I'll be going over it with some proper paint, some coloured paint to obviously blend it in better so that the side panel looks original. So pleased with the way that's turned out. It's dried out quite well. It looks quite nice. So pleased enough that that's sorted that area out, because I could have left it, but I just didn't like the way it was sticking out. It just made the machine look messy, and it had all gone. It wasn't particularly nicely done. In the arcades, they're not there for looks. They're there to earn money. So this is that stone chip that's dried out. So as you can see, it's got a nice textured finish like the original. But I'm going to go over it with some proper colour, just to bring it up to get the colour coming through, and so it looks more like the original one. So this is the machine as it stands. Mechanically now it's it's all working. I'm going to do some of those pedals. I don't like those pedals, but all everything else is all working nice, and it's all starting to come together. So I thought I'd just give an update on this Ridge Racer project. So that's it so far. So we'll catch you again in part 2. Bye for now.